Dave, calm down. It's okay. We're gonna get through this.
It's not that bad.
No,
Actually,
no.
it was.
Yeah. Well, I got my liquor. I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. Frank and Darren back again. TSL, and we're talking about Freddy's Dead. Not Freddy, what is it? It's not Nightmare on Elm Street Part 6. It's Freddy's Dead. The final nightmare, along with the Voiceman himself, of course, Mr. Dave McRae.
Thank you very much for having me. It is technically the 6th movie, but yeah, it's not
The
really
title-wise poster they wanted to put it out.
That's right.
Yeah. So, but after I watched this movie, guys, or actually during I was watching this movie, I noticed that something Freddy hasn't done in any other movie except for in this movie. He breaks the fourth wall.
Yes.
More times than one. Mm-hmm. It is sad. It becomes a comedy. Dave, your thoughts?
This is, I just watched it this morning.
It's fresh in your mind.
It's fresh in my mind, and this is without a doubt the worst film in the franchise. 100%. No doubt. There's no question in my mind. It is a
Five's
pile
an
of
Oscar
dog
winner.
shit. 5 is an Oscar winner compared to this. This is up there for me with like Halloween 5, Resurrection. Even Halloween 5 has redeeming qualities. You got Loomis in there. You got, there's certain there's moments and shots and things like that. Overall, 5, of course, is trash. Same with Resurrection. But, you can generally find little things you can kind of, there's nothing in this movie. Like it really should just be, this is the worst of Freddy's Dead, and there is no best. It is the way the makeup is, as you said, Freddy breaks the fourth wall, completely new cast of characters who we've never met before, a daughter that it just makes no sense. It's completely made up for this film.
Out of history.
It is, they've taken the surrealism and the sort of that fantasy to the next level, but it's hokey and it's cheesy. There's nothing scary about this movie at all. Not even little moments. Again, like I don't find 3, 4, or 5 particularly scary either, but you can usually find those little moments. You're like, this is really good. Oh, there's nothing in this film. Nothing. Literally nothing. It is a terrible movie, and some of the performance and the dialogue seems kind of choppy and strange, maybe a little overselling it at certain times. What can I say that hasn't been said before? It's a terrible film.
Darren, do you agree that Freddy in this one has become a private party clown that makes balloons?
It's as I echo everything Dave says there. It is a terrible. Not only is it a terrible Elm Street film, it's a terrible movie, terrible horror movie, a terrible movie. And I just actually was quite shocked. I don't remember it being as bad as it is, and I had to watch it twice. Because I just couldn't get my head around some of it. I was just like, I need to watch this again just to make sure it is actually that bad. And it is. Yeah. Right from the moment with the opening of the film where they declare that there's only one kid left in Springwood with a map of Springwood. And it's a complete, almost like an Escape from New York ripoff at the start, isn't it?
Right, it is.
And then to Bob Shea and the bus ticket booth, and it's just
and right there, I mean, if you're saying that it's been 10 years, so what year is this supposed to take place then? 1999 or something like that? Or
no idea,
somewhere around there. Anyway, to say that there's no children left in Springwood except for whatever, Well, so he's now ventured off of Elm Street and he's going down to Barber Street and Hank Street and Main Street and tackling like I don't understand the law. Not that you need logic by the sixth part, but yeah, I thought that was kind of weird because I thought it was always pretty localized and centralized to Elm Street, and we really have no idea how long or big Elm Street is. I mean, it could be a long street.
Yeah, it's so long that it reaches all the way to California where there are palm trees.
Yes, that's
From
correct.
Ohio to
That's
California. That's a big-ass fucking Elm Street.
Yeah.
Ohio has just as many palm trees as northern New Jersey has Rocky Mountains with smoke on the top.
That's right. That, although to be fair, I totally agree with everything you've said, but there's a couple of shots even in the original Elm Street where you see palm trees. I think maybe or maybe you don't. Maybe you do. I think it's on the bridge when Glenn and Nancy are talking to each other, eating fast food. I think you might see a palm tree in the background. The funeral. That's right. I'm going to get her some help. Yeah, you can see palm trees in the background.
Could you grab me that coconut up there?
That's right. So it's not. It's clearly not Ohio. But then again, you see palm trees in the original Halloween too. So But yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Really quick before we get to our best and worst of, do you think this is the way an iconic slasher should have left the franchise?
No, I would have rather it just ended with 5. And that's not really the way you want this icon to go out either. But 6 is just it is when you watch this is my opinion, but when you watch the Elm Street films, they just get the trajectory and quality is really just, again, having watched 4 so close to 3, I actually found myself enjoying 4 this time around more than 3. However, there is an argument to be made that each installment just gets worse than the last one. You can't really. It's just terrible. Yeah, no, it's not a way you want him to go. He looks terrible. The makeup's terrible. It's terrible. It is terrible.
So are we classing this then as the final installment of Elm Street? Are we not kind of including the New Nightmare meta version?
I would like to think New Nightmare is a better way to end.
I think New Nightmare, certainly Freddy's Dead is the final film
of this Freddy,
yeah, of this series for sure. Yeah. New Nightmare, because of its meta self-aware approach, is almost just kind of it's. I know people call it Nightmare 7. Well, I guess
we got to
chronologically, sure, but it's not really, it's separate.
Yeah, I think a lot of people actually forget this movie more than any other movie. I think a lot of people think of 5, then they are like, oh yeah, Freddy's dead, but let's watch New Nightmare instead.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
I'm looking forward to New Nightmare. I haven't seen it since it came out.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to watching it. I do remember really liking it when it came out, but I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So Dave, starting with you as always, who is your best character?
What the hell was in that bag? Jack Daniels. So, my best character? Is that what you asked me, Frank? My best character?
Your tolerable character.
There's nobody in this film that is good at all. But I guess the one character that I thought maybe should have, I don't know. I picked John Doe. And I picked the guy that we're first introduced to at the beginning of the film, who's on the airplane and all that. And he's an actor by the name of Sean Greenblatt, but she spells Sean, at least according to IMDb, as S-H-O-N. All right.
Excuse us.
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah. Sean. Greenblatt, and he's credited as John Doe because I don't know who he is. And I he's my best character because I just think that, I guess because we're introduced to him first, and I like the mystery that surrounds him and who is he and where does he come from, and it's just kind of like he has amnesia, and it's like, I don't know, it's just it's a,
and we never get any of that. It's a wasted character.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why
closure
I guess
to him.
I was sort of I'm not attached, but out of it, again, it's relative, folks. It's relative. Out of everybody, I was like, oh, okay, I'm interested to see where he this goes. You know, does he find out who he is? Does he have a mom or dad that was murdered? What's his connection? Obviously, you know, you think he's the son or the grandson, and then it turns out to be the other chick. But I mean, isn't that sad? Because it's terrible. That's it. He's my best character. It's awful.
Darren, yourself.
I think it has to be Maggie, played by Lisa Zane. It's actually Billy Zane's sister, isn't it?
Older sister, yeah.
I think my reasons for her being my favourite character are purely because she's the person to finally kill Freddy.
The skirt she was wearing.
With a pipe bomb, of all things.
And it ends so abruptly. You know, just like, they're all like smiling in the hallway, and she's like she's bashful about it. She's like,
Freddy's
like she let a fart go that she doesn't want anybody to know about. You know what I mean? She's like, Freddy's dead.
Don't tell anybody I did it.
And then it just ends. The movie just ends. God. Kids today.
It's terrible. But yeah, no, Lisa Zane, I think. I mean, she's the kind of main sort of protagonist in this, I guess. So yeah, I mean, and where she comes from, I have no idea at all where this character suddenly was dreamt up from. It just seems ludicrous. Well, the whole franchise at this point is ludicrous, but yeah, I guess she's the best thing in it.
Okay. Well, this is going to be a first because we're all going to be picking somebody different because I think we're all trying to find one of us who has a better answer than the next one so we can grasp onto it. And it doesn't work. For me, it's Doc, Yaphet Kotto. Just because of he was in a Bond movie, he was in Alien, and I was just like, I know this actor. Please save us. Please save us. And he was on, I think, the least amount. But you know what? I had to pick him just because of not the character he was, but the characters he portrayed in his career.
Yeah. I mean, there are some of my answers are kind of similar to that as well. You know, because they did so and so, then that's why they're my favorite character. But yeah, that's he was okay in it. I mean,
he's the one that was like, I'll be in it for a few scenes, but yeah, this is shit. I just give me my $100 and I'll be out of here.
Yeah.
Dave, your worst character.
My worst character.
You can't pick everybody.
Okay. No. My worst character is Freddy.
Oh, okay.
100%. He's the worst
First time,
thing.
ladies and gentlemen.
He's the worst character. With honorable mention, I chose Maggie. And the only reason why I chose Maggie is because I just think the whole idea of her character existing is ridiculous. So that's, I just like, a daughter, really? What? You know? So, but really, Freddy is the worst. There's nothing scary about him in this movie. He's not intimidating in the slightest. He's again to the next level of Carnival Barker. And he's just, and the way he's lit, the way he looks, and you know, great graphics, and you know,
that smile, right? When he takes Carlos's soul, he's like an old man with no teeth smiling.
Yeah, and the thing that bothers me, I haven't noticed this in past Elm Streets, and I don't know if it's because they've cut around it or it's just that the makeup is better. But watching Robert Englund blink as Freddy is weird. Yeah, he'll be there, and I don't know if others have, but it's just the way he's there, and he's like, oh, great. Yeah, and you just see him blink, and it's just kind of weird to see him blink.
It's a chore for him to do it, isn't it, probably?
Yeah, it probably is, but it just looks weird. It looks too, I don't know, human, and the fact that he doesn't have any contacts in. You're just seeing his normal eyes. Where I know it's been like that for a few films at this point. And I even think it was his normal eyes in the very first film too. But because he was lit so well and so much better and it's a better film overall, you don't really notice it. But Freddy is terrible in this movie. I just don't find him. This is the quintessential version of what Freddy should never, ever, ever be ever again.
It's personal almost, right? It's like you ruined this character.
Yeah, he owes me $10.
It's like you ruined this character that I grew up with and I actually loved, and he got worse and worse and worse, and this is just
terrible.
It's month-old cake that you just baked. It's just like, ugh. Dave, Darren, yourself.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it, how much control Robert Englund had over the character at that point. I'm guessing that quite a bit, and it was probably a lot of this stuff was, oh, wouldn't it be fun if we did this, you know, and tried that, and you know,
Yeah.
it's the only way I can think of that he would keep coming back to do this, if he had some sort of input on the direction of Freddy, and so, you know, for he's my worst character as well. He just looks bored. Robert Englund looks bored throughout this.
He does,
and
yeah.
his dialogue is kind of resorted to like constant dad jokes throughout, which just aren't funny whatsoever.
Oh, it's terrible.
The makeup isn't scary, like you said. It just kind of looks cheap and low rent. It actually looks like, and I know you mentioned this before, they kind of tried to work around Robert Englund because he was finding all the applications really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It does look like he's just put this thing over his head. It just doesn't look good at all. He's nothing but a toon in this film.
100%. And I always use the comparison that when you look at Freddy, when he, you know, has the power glove and he's like, and he does that, and you look at his face, he looks swollen, like he was stung by, it just looks like Robert Englund was stung by a bee, you know, and in comparison to what he looked like in part 2, you know, and it's, yeah, he looks like bubble gum is stuck to his face, and it's dreadful. It's he's a shred of what he was, you know, and it's not Robert's fault. I mean, you know, he's acting in a film that he, you know, he's doing what he's got to do. But I would love, I mean, he would never. He's too professional. He would never
speak up.
Yeah, he wouldn't necessarily. But he can't possibly. He's got to be able to see the contrast. Now it's like, this isn't. What is this? Like, this is not. You know. Yeah. Jeez. What is there else to say?
I have two worst characters. One is Mo, Larry, and Curly, the Dream Demons. I think they're absolutely terrible. No need to be on there, especially in 3D. It's just really fucking terrible. To add that in there,
names?
No, that's what I called them. That's what I called them.
Things.
Yeah.
And why was this movie even? Why was the third act of this film even in 3D? Because I don't recall 3D being like an in thing in the early 90s.
Probably was something to bring the audience because they knew through word of mouth. You know, maybe because I'm comparing it, but I'm not saying they're the same on the same scope. The reason why you went to go see Avatars is some of this brand new amazing thing that James Cameron. And I'm not saying that this was like that with Freddy, but they knew that the younger kids and the younger people that grew up with Freddy have never experienced 3D like this, and so they decided, it's terrible.
It needed a hook, didn't it?
Yeah. And those were my runner-up. You know, Mo, Larry, and Curly from the Dream Demons. But my number one worst character is Tracy. I hated Tracy.
She the one that does the karate and stuff?
Yeah. She was just always angry all the time. Her dialogue sucked. I was just like, girl, loosen up. It is for me my worst character is Tracy, just because she's always this hard-headed person. Never shows any emotion until the end, but Maggie, here, Maggie, take the brass knuckle, Maggie.
And this whole idea too of taking Freddy out of the dream world into reality, this movie plays it like it's a new revelation, when that concept was introduced in the very first movie, when Nancy takes his, accidentally takes his hat, or was able to get his hat. So the way they're like, I think we just have to, it's like, well, this isn't new. Like, this is just you, and you did it worse in this film.
Yeah.
So
you ruined his shirt, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Dave, your best line.
Freddy in this movie looks like somebody. There's always a time that comes in these films where the main antagonist, whether it's Freddy, Michael, Jason, whatever, Ghostface, whatever, it well, not necessarily Ghostface, because the look of Ghostface doesn't really change. But there always comes a time when they start to look like just somebody cosplaying as the character. And Robert Englund definitely looks like somebody just cosplaying as Freddy in this movie. Yeah. You know, he doesn't look like Freddy Krueger. He looks like somebody I'd see at a convention. Like, oh, that's pretty good. You know, and as a cosplayer, you'd go, that's pretty good. Wow, that's pretty good. But you know what I mean, right? Anyway, sorry, my best line. My best line, I have two here, obviously, but my best line, this was extraordinarily difficult because the lines and the dialogue in this movie are terrible. And there's just nothing that stands out. Literally nothing that stands out. But Dave, I like the movie. Well, then like the movie. That's fine. I think it's dog shit. But I chose, the two lines I chose, and obviously the first one you can put up as, you know, my best, whatever, is because it's more about sort of, you take these two lines out of this movie and you put them in a better movie, and it's kind of cool. Like it's got a philosophical angle to it, you know, and it's kind of like, oh, that's interesting. There's a deeper, it's got a bit of a layer to it. Oh, that's kind of interesting. You know, what does that kind of mean? So anyway, the first one is free me, you idiot. I'm your fucking memory, you know? And so it's just, you know, again, right? It's like, oh, like there's a bit of layer there to it. It's like, what could that mean? How could you use that, you know, in the movie? And what does that mean for the narrative that you're telling, where he's seeing himself as his memory and the memory's telling him that he's a memory? Again, right? It's you know, not much to grab onto there, but that I you know, was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then the other one is, whatever he is, he's fucking with the line between dreams. Excuse me. Whatever he is, he's fucking with the line between dreams and reality. He didn't just kill Carlos and the others; he erased them. Again, that the tail end of that line right there, the tail end of that line, I should say, is what is, you know. Again, has that layer there, where it's like, you know, he didn't just kill them, he erased them. It's like, oh, what does that mean?
He's gone a step further.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a layer to it, you know. I mean, it's not deep or anything, but it's just, in this movie, it's like, oh, that's kind of interesting, you know.
All right. Okay, Darren, yourself.
Simply.
Oh, sorry, I had one more.
Go ahead.
One more. Sorry. Honorable mention, of course, which is, you want to know the secret of pain? If you just stop feeling it, you can start using it. Again, same kind of thing. Oh, that's interesting. Very kind of poetic. So there you go.
And Darren, your best line in this piece of shit.
Oh, just simply, I couldn't choose between, you know, either of these, because it all it does is signify that this whole mess is over, and that's Freddy's line of "kids." Just before he blows up, or when as we were talking about before we went on air, Maggie's line of, and she says it so pathetically, "Freddy's dead" at the end. Because
I think she farted while she said it. that was why she had the bashful look on her face.
Freddy's
such a Freddy Krueger.
It's such an odd way to end the film as well. I mean, there's no kind of there's nothing there, is there? There's not even a glimmer, a glint, and that's why I kind of liked it. It's just like, bang, done, that's it, he's gone, we're done with it. Even Bob Shea was bored with this at this point, wasn't he?
Yes.
We need someone to sell bus tickets. Really, we haven't got much of a budget here. Look, fuck it, I'll do it.
That's right.
I need a job after this.
Jesus.
I'm practicing.
So bad.
I got two as well, and one of my best lines is "Kung Fu this bitch." I thought that was good. It made me chuckle a little bit. And my favorite line in this movie, you know, while biting my tongue and just, you know, scraping my skin with a razor to find something that's great about this movie, is a saying that he says that could be on every shirt, and that is, every town has an Elm Street. It means I could be everywhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have to be, I could be in Elm Street, California. I could be in Elm Street, Ohio. I could be anywhere. But yeah, that's it.
Every town has an Elm Street.
Every town has an Elm Street. All right, Dave, what is your peanut butter on the penis line?
You remembered carrying it over. My peanut butter on the penis line is my worst line. Again, I have a few of them here. So the first one is I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too. Oh God, and that's our first introduction to him in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, that's rough. That's rough. And then of course, no screaming while the bus is in motion. Oh God, and then great graphics. And then what else? And then I beat my high score. Why is Freddy Krueger, I almost cut myself with this. Why is Freddy Krueger going, oh, shucks. Like, what the hell is going on? But anyway, yeah, I'll get you, my pretty, and my little soul, and your little soul, too.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Terrible. That's
You
it.
took me in to see The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah. The
They
Wizard
even
of
use
Something.
the music from the Wizard of Oz as well, don't they? When they're going into his
Yeah.
nightmare or whatever, I can't remember now.
You forgot the power glove.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. Oh. That's awful. It's awful.
Boing, 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 boing.
Oh, God, no.
We can't do this. Darren, your worst line because you like peanut butter on the penis.
I was going to say that one of this film's many downfalls, a couple of its many downfalls, are its willingness to kind of experiment with the technology at the time, 3D, which just looks god awful in this film. It was the red and green version of 3D, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was, and also the video games that they play in it. You never put a video game in a movie because it will just date the movie so much. Unless you're smart and you do something like Tron, which was ahead of its time.
Correct.
But this, I mean, that video game secret. We'll get onto that anyway. But I think, Dave, you read out pretty much all of my worst lines that I've got here. But there was one other as well, which was where after Carlos's head explodes, he goes,
"Nice hearing from you, Carlos."
Yeah, that's right.
Nice hearing from you, Carlos.
Yeah, nice hearing from you, Carlos.
It was like a Shaggy voice, right, from Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
What that I just did.
No, what Freddy did.
Oh, right, okay.
It's like Zoinks, nice hearing from you, Carlos.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably what it is. Good old. Oh, ruh-roh, ready?
Oh,
God.
I got two worse lines to follow up with you guys, and we're just going to make this movie even more shittier because now we're getting to different moments for us to make this movie. We're thinking about the movie as a whole with every time we say something, and that I have two. One is no honey for daddy, especially with the little fucked up face, from Tracy's father.
I know. Yeah.
But the one that pisses me off so much is, oh, you think I'm your daddy? Wrong. What the fuck?
It's so true. It's
What
so
the
true.
fuck?
Yeah.
Don't
quite
say
good,
that,
Frank.
Freddie. You're
That
not
was
supposed to be
good.
anyone's dad.
That was good, Frank. That was good. I like that.
Oh, God. Me saying that was probably the best line of a worse line.
I enjoyed you doing it more than I enjoyed it in the movie. Let's just put it that way.
You even got a bit of the 3D in there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and then followed by a plate of spikes or a table of spikes.
Oh yeah.
Freddy
He pushes
pushing
it out onto the road,
and he looks at you and goes, "Whew."
I know. He's a fucking loser in this movie.
Thank you, Eugene Siskel.
"Oh,
Can you imagine that's what you see? So he's just a fucking loser.
I could see Dave going into Freddy's dream world, and Freddy's going, "I'm gonna get you, McRae," and Dave just goes, "You're a fucking loser." And then Freddy's all depressed, like,
And
oh.
I don't mean any disrespect to Robert Englund, of course, because Robert Englund's the man. I mean, he's awesome, but the version of Freddy in this movie is just god awful. It's like, what am I watching here?
loser.
you fucking loser. And then if somebody had said that to him in this movie, he would have been like,
Oh.
nobody's ever said that to me before.
I got a lot to think about.
I feel sad.
Oh, well, time to end it. Takes his hat off.
Yeah, that's all it is. Oh, and yeah.
All right, Dave, but your best kill. It's like one. There's really, if you think about it, it's one.
There's nothing really. I just chose Carlos. The actual moment of that, because it's always I always take enjoyment, no matter how bad or good the movie is. There is always enjoyment in watching somebody's head explode. and some movies do it better than others. This wasn't, incredible or anything. I still think Deadly Friend is one of the best head explosions. Scanners, I think, too.
Chopping ball.
Yes. Yeah. This is not up there. I mean, this wouldn't make a top 10 list or anything, but certainly just seeing him go... was enjoyable. So that's my best
Darren,
kill.
you agree?
No, I want to talk about top head explosions now. So yeah, you say Scanners, Maniac in the car. When,
Oh yes.
What else have we got? Dawn of the Dead, when the SWAT burst into the room and shoot the guy in the head. There's some great ones out there.
There's some great ones.
I think Scanners is probably the best one of all.
If you ever do a best and worst of head explosions, I want in on it. I'm just saying.
That's a good episode, isn't it? That'd be fun. Where are we? Best kill. I agree, Carlos. He's sucked into this dream world, whereas we learn how he became deaf. And this forced some sort of mutant hearing aid into his ears, which is kind of like amplifying everything to a ridiculous level. And eventually his noggin just goes pop.
Yep.
I mean, to say that that's the best kill in the movie is pretty weak. But I guess, well, I'll talk about it a little bit later as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with everyone else. It's Carlos. I just hate Freddy doing what causes Carlos's head to explode. He brings out that chalkboard and he's just like, oh, and he's rubbing one out. He's like,
it is so bad. I was gonna bring it up soon, and you beat me to it. It is so bad, and the way he's going,
oh, you're tickling me. Ooh.
Oh my God, what have we become? I mean, somebody, it's like Mickey Mouse. Ha, Carlos, ha. Somebody needs to do like a video where you see Freddy in Elm Street 1 and 2, and then you just cut immediately to, it's like, what is going on? It's awful. It's like isn't there a Freddy's Dead episode where he's playing the guitar and he's jumping up and down playing the guitar or something?
Oh, Christ.
God, what is going on? It's awful. Yeah, you go, Yeah, it's like, this is, and Carlos is just, okay, all right. It's like, no, he's not saying that, but that's kind of,
Hangman?
Yeah, like it's like, why aren't you running away? At least try to run away. Anyway.
So this is the thing, though. What I was saying earlier is that a lot of this must be coming from Robert Englund himself. I don't believe the director or anybody got him to do that. I think he just probably was running riot at this point, and they were going, "Oh yeah, well that's fun. We'll put that in there."
Yeah.
I think he's
right.
a lot to answer for as Robert Englund in terms of the decline of Freddy Krueger, because
you might be right.
I can't believe that. Because they were all relatively unknown directors when they first started doing this, and he had got to the point where he was getting bigger than the franchise itself.
Yes,
right.
And I just wonder. I think he had a lot more input on this than what we don't want to give him credit for.
It's true, and you may be right. And the director of this movie, her name escapes me now, but she, of course, was a constant through the series.
Talley, is it, or something?
Something like that. Yeah, she was a producer on a lot of the films.
Yeah, she was like at the beginning of the franchise, practically.
Yes, exactly. So, and I noticed too, Maybe you've seen this before, but I don't. You don't usually see this. Obviously, the directed by is the last credit that pops up before the movie continues. But in this one, it didn't say directed by; it just said director, and I've never seen that before. I'm sure it probably exists somewhere, but usually it's directed by, not just director and the name, which is interesting. I don't know. It's a side note.
It's like
but
saying
it's just
I'm not
something
the
I
only
noticed.
one who made this shit. I was only the director on it.
Exactly.
Or maybe she didn't want by in there.
Yes, 'cause
so we could
that's the
assume
form
that
of ownership
director
of
of
that
what? Yeah, director of what? The director of craft services, maybe. I
There
don't
we
know.
go. Another fourth wall breaking with Carlos is when he goes to the audience and also goes,
I was just gonna go.
Don't need that.
yeah, okay, we'll go on. Now, since we're all pissed off,
It sounded like when you went, yeah, you're right, we'll go on, that you were taking Darren's "we don't need that" into directed towards you. Frank, we don't need that. Yeah, you're right, we'll go on.
it's true. He probably was trying to calm me down. Dave, your worst kill.
My worst kill is Spencer and everything that entails it.
Oh, it's too long.
Everything that entails it. That entire sequence.
In the franchise.
In the franchise, it is probably one of the worst things I've seen in horror. It is just the way he's what am I
Bouncing
watching?
around.
What am I watching? He's bouncing up and down like Ram Man from Masters of the Universe, and he's going upstairs and down halls
With the sound
and-
effects.
With the sound effects, and it even sounds like the sound effects that are used in the Flintstones, when they're or in
A merry
cartoons.
melody.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're about to run. You get that, you get that, and boom,
Are you
boom,
talking
boom,
about
boom.
when he's in the game or out of the game?
Out of the
Out of
game.
the game.
When he
In
comes
that-
out.
out, and he's in the hallway and stuff, and you hear like and boom, 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 and all this stuff, and Maggie. Nobody's going, what the fuck is going on? No, Maggie's just going, okay. Where'd he go? Nobody's freaking out. It looks so cheesy and lame and dated and just what is juvenile and silly, tacky, silly
Shit.
shit. It's just what is this? And then of course you get to the and his Freddy's feet are up on the desk like this, and he's sitting there and and it's like, what the hell has this movie become? What is this?
Right next to a
Bouncing
stack of
around
bills
and-
on his desk. Just
God, and I thought the cartoon music in Halloween 5 was bad. I mean, this is one of the
This is
worst
torture.
kills. It is the worst kill or sequence in the entire franchise.
The
I
actor
think.
must have been so embarrassed shooting that sequence when he's bunny hopping around into the wall and back. And,
Oh my God. What is this? I mean, listen, I understand as it relates to a video game. I get the intention behind it, why he's doing that.
Yeah.
But it's just so ridiculous. It's silly. It's
Yeah,
not, it's silly. It's terrible. Where's my bag?
I gotta throw up.
You okay?
Yeah, I gotta throw up. I'm good. I think it's gonna. All right, go ahead. Continue.
Darren, you concur?
Yeah, although I did add a kind of honourable in there as well. I think there's the Spencer 8-bit video game moments. Just I couldn't watch it. I was actually, when you watch a car crash interview where it's the whole world are watching one person slowly die. It was like that with this. I was just like, oh my God. And that actor looking back on that now must think, what was I being paid to do?
Yeah.
I think that also another one of the worst kills is Alice Cooper as Freddy's dad. And even though we don't see it, it is a kill. And given how much Alice Cooper has built his career around killing himself on stage multiple times, he must have been absolutely distraught about his appearance in this film. His demise is a mess. It's just crap. That whole cameo.
One of your
was just
heroes. You're one
awful.
of your
Actually,
musical heroes.
One of my musical heroes as well. And when I heard that he was in it, I was excited. And then but you see that short sequence that he's in and what happens. It's just such a letdown.
Yeah.
And the guy playing 17-year-old Freddy looks nothing like Robert Englund.
No.
He looks like he looks, I don't know. Anyway, not that that's a big deal, but
American Graffiti.
We would be remiss if we didn't say, what the is Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold doing in this movie? I mean, I understand they were ill, but it's like, oh my God, and the little amusement thing. Where are they going? What's happening? Nobody's freaking out, like and then they're like, oh, I'll just go and, and they break into this house and they're like, oh, I'll just have a nap here. What? Who does that? Who just, we've been driving around, we don't know what's happening. This is it lacks so much believability of the choices that characters would make. I do not believe that the characters would make these choices.
Remember in this one, I'm going to ask you guys a different question when we get to the end before we do our best moment. But I do agree that Spencer's fall into the pit and everything leading up to it is terrible. And I can't add anything else because if I do add anything else, we would probably just want to shoot ourselves because it's just reminding of how much shit is in there.
With the fall into the pit, you don't see what happens, do you? He just kind of goes down a hole and a soul or something shoots out. That's it.
Or he goes into the zombie land with Carlos waiting there. Jesus Christ. The zombies to move. Get out of here. Let me talk. Okay, so before we get to our best moment, because it's going to be very short, what is the one part of this movie, guys, that really bothered you? The one thing only that you cannot get out of your brain, and if they changed it, it maybe would be a little bit more tolerable to watch.
For me, it's just how much of the entire film as a whole is just a circus act. It's just silly. The film just tonally is just...
It's Naked Gun.
Yeah, it's like watching a spoof of Freddy. Like a scary movie.
Yes.
It's just that's what it is. It's everything.
Abrams and Zucker.
It's everything. It's awful. Awful. Elm Street.
As you were saying that, Dave, I could imagine you just trying to wipe the taste off your palate, just like.
Oh my God! I mean, listen. As I was sitting watching this movie this morning, I shit my pants. I mean, that is how awful this movie is. It's how awful this movie is. And you know what? I didn't even get up from the couch. I knew I had done it, and I just decided to sit there and revel in it and relish in the feeling of sitting there. Yes, in the warmth, because that's how much this film affected me. I don't know, I don't care. I sat there, I thought, I can smell it, I can feel it.
Honey, can you clean this up?
Yeah. Honey, can you come here and change me, please? Because I can't even get off the couch with this. I mean, it's awful. It's awful.
And the saddest,
it's worse than Halloween 5.
And the satisfaction of making sure that itch you have from that stale shit in your pants and scratching it.
Yes. Yeah. And doing this show with you right now, I still haven't changed. So I mean, yeah. It stinks right now in here. It reeks,
ladies and gentlemen.
It reeks in here right now.
You had a few Pigpen vibes there.
Yeah, that's you see it. You can see it coming up. Well, Veda right now is Veda's unconscious on the floor here beside me. Look, help!
She's laying in her litter. She's like, I need something else.
She's gone to her litter to get a better scent. That's
than you watching this movie. Darren, how about you? The one thing that pissed you off about this movie?
It's Freddy completely. Because he even though we were kind of complaining about him in part 5, he's miles away from what he's like in part 5 in this.
Yeah.
It's just like you said, it is like a Zucker Abrahams spoof movie. It's completely gone off the rails and they should be f***ing shamed of what they did. If you're going to call a movie Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, you're wearing your heart on your sleeve. You're expecting people to go to the cinema to see what happens and what this is all about.
Yeah.
They duped so many people with it.
They did.
It wasn't the worst in the series. Sorry, well, you did. You could take the glass. In fact, a few years ago, I found the glasses. I actually found the 3D glasses that you got with the film. But yeah, they completely.
Were you about to say this isn't the worst in the series?
No, I was going to say this isn't the worst in the series in terms of box office.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That belongs to. I think that's part 5.
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
Just going to say, Darren.
Were you watching the Spanish edition?
Yeah.
So what they did to Freddy, and I swear Robert Englund had a lot of input into that.
Yeah.
I just get that feeling that if he felt so strongly about that character and how scary it was, he wouldn't have allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
But he did.
That's true.
So yeah, I just think that Freddy himself is the absolute worst thing about this film.
For me, this is the first Friday. This is the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie I ever saw in the theater. Just because I really wasn't interested in Nightmare on Elm Street until it went to video for some reason. So I could watch it with the lights out by myself. I thought it would make it more creepy.
Right.
But my mom took me to go see this because it was a rated R movie. And I knew this movie was shit when I looked at my mom and she was smiling throughout the whole movie. And she thought it was cute. And I was just like, this is absolute shit.
I could totally see a parent thinking that this movie was cute.
Yeah, she's just
100%.
Like, oh, that's fun.
Oh,
fun.
That's
fun.
fun. Oh, the bouncing up and down the video game. Oh,
yes, that particular part, Dave.
You have a Nintendo,
right? The Wizard of Oz and everything that's going on there.
That's right.
Lovely.
Oh, I'll get you my pretty new little soul too. Oh, I'll get you. Oh,
it's like when I was a kid.
Right.
Oh, and the 3D and all that.
Yeah.
Technology came so far.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that'll do it.
just like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What is your best moment now, fellas, Dave?
Well, I'll just make this quick. When the movie was over, that is, honest to God, that's what I wrote down. When the movie was over. When the movie was over, I sat there and I thought, yeah, I can't think of I don't know if this film has a best moment for me. I just, it is very hard. Like, listen, I mean, if I wanted to think, it could be the best, but it's just, everything is just so bad. I just thought when the movie was done, I was like, thank God, that movie's terrible. Yeah. So,
Darren, yourself?
I think the only kind of upside I can find to this movie is the Carlos death scene. That whole sequence of Freddy kind of toying with him and sort of progressively torturing him, dropping the pins and making all the noises as they're getting amplified. Yeah. It's a kill that kind of could sit in 3, 4, or 5. It could quite happily sit in one of those movies. Minus the. I think doing that might be a little over, but aside, also the quip at the end. But I think just the cat and mouse that's going on there, and the payoff as well with the head. It does kind of feel like a sort of not classic Freddy kill, but a sort of regular franchise kill from Freddy Krueger.
Right.
And I think it's the only mildly positive moment in this. Absolutely,
it's the least smelling part.
Yeah. So that would be that's the only thing I can think of, apart from what you've said already, Dave, is the fact that it's the last movie and it's all over.
Yeah. For me, is the end credits when we hear Iggy Pop sing "Wow, wow, 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 was I born?" But the problem was that the thing that I liked, I stayed for the end credits because my mom just hated Iggy Pop and metal and thrash and punk rock. She's like, I'll be outside. I'm like, okay, now I can enjoy some of this. But there's some parts when you hear that song at the end, they brought the best parts of the past movies back as a little collage, a little flashback. Yeah. And there's that one part where they're doing the guitar solo or the riff, and it's the part where he comes out of Jesse for the first time. I mean, it's the back of his shoulders, and he gets up. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, remember that, Freddy? Does everyone here, oh, I'm the only one here. Does anyone else remember that Freddy and what that Freddy used to be?
That's what the end credits are all about, is basically a collage of
reminiscing,
better films. Yes. And the end credits are basically saying, well, okay, here, remember the stuff that you liked better. That's
stay to the end. They really literally made meant that.
Yeah,
Stay to the end.
Yeah, stay to the end.
But seeing
That's true.
all the good parts of the Freddy movies and hearing that good Iggy Pop song, because Iggy Pop is good anyway. And
I forgot about Iggy Pop.
And him just, singing that great song and what was he saying? Iggy Pop? I don't know.
I don't know. I shit my
Elvis.
pants watching this movie. That's right.
Oh, wow. Well, Dave, you'll be back again, right, for New Nightmare?
Yes. To cap it off, I will be back for New Nightmare 1994.
No bag. No bag.
No, I'm not going to need a bag for this one. I'm looking forward to watching. I haven't watched it in a couple years.
Clean underwear.
And clean underwear this time. Well, I'm gonna prepare though. I'm gonna wear a Depends diaper.
Ooh.
And we'll see how it goes. But this is the self-aware meta film where everybody's playing a fictionalized version of themselves. So I'm looking forward to watching it.
It'd be fun.
Darren, closing arguments? Or...
No, I don't think there's any. I think we're all in agreement that this film is atrocious. So, there's nothing more to say about this. I've been dreading this for weeks, and I just hope that people watching this have enjoyed what we've come up with. But no, it is a absolute joke of a movie, and it needs deleting. Put it
There was a comment on I forget what video it was. I saw it briefly, and maybe that individual was watching this. They made a comment about how Freddy's Dead was their favorite in the series, and I just would like to say that I hope that person gets help. That's all. I just help is out there, and if you look in the right places, you can find it.
Look, if anybody does think that this is is their favorite Elm Street movie,
Well, that's great.
fine.
There's nothing wrong.
Yeah,
Of course, it's fine.
Yeah.
Of
But
course,
do
I'm
let
being
us
silly.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, do let us know. Put it in the comments.
Don't let us know.
And try and if you've got
Make
an
an
argument
argument.
as to why this is better than any of the other films, then do let us know. I would certainly like to hear it. 3 of us here who are fans of the franchise have watched this and can't find barely any redeeming qualities in this film. So, but there may be some. I don't know.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, stick to the roads.
And the best of luck.
Cheers.